This event where Donald Trump is speaking. It's a bill signing, and of course, the big theme at the moment is the Epstein fallout, whether he'll address that. So we're watching for that. White House in full damage control mode, really, today over that. The Wall Street Journal published what it says is a 2003 letter from Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. According to the paper, the birthday greeting included a suggestive drawing of a woman and concluded with happy birthday, may every day be another wonderful secret. The president called the letter fake and threatened to sue the Journal and his longtime friend, Rupert Murdoch, of the paper's parent company, of course. Joining us is David Graham. He's a staff writer for The Atlantic and the author of The Project, How Project 2025 is Reshaping America. David, thank you so much for joining us. Never underestimate Donald Trump, right? He's had crises before, he's got through them, but do you feel he's floundering on this one?
This is a level of confusion and sort of spinning from Trump that I don't think we've seen this term. It's very similar to some of the crises in his first term, but he's been a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more organized this term, and maybe been a little bit more on the offensive. So I think that's one thing. And the other thing is this gets, I think, really to the heart of Trump's appeal because he's asking people to trust the government after spending a lot of time telling them they couldn't believe the government. So I think that makes it an unusually difficult scandal for him.
What do you make of this, obviously, clear tension now between Rupert Murdoch, who was very central, wasn't he, to Donald Trump's campaign efforts, what's your understanding within the journalism industry for a start? Would Rupert Murdoch be able to say to the editor of the Wall Street Journal, you can't run this? Just explain that one first.
Sure, he very much would. He has full control over the Journal, but he also seems to be more willing to let the Journal challenge Trump. And they've been very strong in challenging Trump at times than some of his other properties like the New York Post or Fox News.
OK, and in terms of, Rupert Murdoch famously has his finger on the pulse, like Donald Trump as well. Do you think he sees something happening here to have allowed that story to go ahead?
For Murdoch, I think there's a few things going on. One is that although he sometimes cozies up to Trump, he's also at times been critical of him. He was critical during 2015 and the first Trump presidential election. He was critical while Trump was out of office for a while before sort of getting back on the team. I also think that he enjoys sort of stirring things up and having a sort of prestigious reporting place like the Wall Street Journal, even if some of his other outlets then tend to act more as propaganda outlets for Trump.
So then we go into a legal process. Clearly, the Wall Street Journal is very confident that this was obviously written by Donald Trump. So it'll come down to whether or not it's real or not, presumably.
Presumably. I mean, Trump has managed to bully some of these other news organizations with defamation lawsuits. But the Journal says that they have the document, and there's no reason to believe, given their track record, that they don't.
And what do you understand from the MAGA movement, lower down right now? Because there's a bit of a debate about this, that, some of the liberal media perhaps saying that MAGA's falling apart because of this, which isn't a true narrative. How concerned are MAGA about what's happening here?
I think there's a lot of confusion and divisions within the movement. And I certainly wouldn't want to overstate it. I think there is a kind of glee on the left, an idea that Trump's whole movement is splintering. And I'm not sure that's true. But you do see a lot of divisions in the media, among politicians, even among people in the administration. And I think it gets to a weak point for Trump. So it's clearly viewed as a threat by the White House, which is why you see Trump going off on these, long capitalized rants on Truth Social and elsewhere.
Obviously, there's some confusion about what these Epstein files are. There's obviously lots of different documents, aren't there? There might not necessarily be but one list, and that's all become part of a legend, really, hasn't it? But is the issue with the people that have the problem with Donald Trump right now that he could just get them released and he's not doing it, and that actually speaks to all of the problems he's talked about the establishment in the past?
Right. I think that he and a lot of the people around him have inflated expectations that there are smoking guns in these documents, that there is a client list, supposedly, even though we don't have any actual evidence of that. And so to turn around from saying that to saying there's nothing to see the Attorney General going from saying she has the client list on her desk to the Justice Department saying that there is no client list, I think understandably makes people wonder what to believe and cast doubt on what the government is saying. So even if it's true that there's nothing there, they have a real credibility deficit, and that's hitting them right now.
David Graham, appreciate your insights on that. Thank you so much for joining us from North Carolina.